Hey guys, Patrick Wind here, and welcome to this training model in which I'm going to talk about lookalike audiences. First, I'm going to show you exactly what lookalike audiences are, and then I'm going to show you how to set them up. And then in this model, I'm also going to present you a very nice and interesting experiment that my friends from Adespresso have conducted, and they have derived some very interesting conclusions, and I'm looking forward to present you also not only the experiment but especially the conclusions that they have derived in respect of should you rather use 1, 5 or 10% lookalike, which is a very interesting question that I think all of us need to understand, and I'm looking forward to present you all of that. So let's get started. First, what is a lookalike audience actually? Well, a lookalike audience, just explain it briefly to you, is basically an audience that is similar to a current database that you have. For example, you could use it based on your current fans. So on the left side, you see, for example, 1,000 people who like your Facebook page, and they have those characteristics: men, women, men, women, men, women, with those kind of looks and those interests and demographics, psychographics, and geographics. And you know their information because you upload. Well, Facebook has all that data from them. They actually, from every single person, have around 35,000 pieces of information. So they know how they react when they see a cat video, how they react when they see an ad from a sunglass company. When they click on this ad from the sunglass company, do they actually purchase? How often do they return? So they know a lot about those people, okay? And what they then do is they then apply all this information that they have from this 1,000 people that you already have in your current fan base, and apply it to a specific country, for example in Spain, okay? And then they find the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 or even 10% of the Spanish Facebook population that is the most similar to your current fans, okay? So imagine in Spain there are around 46.5 million inhabitants. Out of them, around 26 million have a Facebook profile. So of course the 10% lookalike in Spain will always be 2.6 million people, because it's just 10% of the 26 million Facebook profiles that there are in Spain, and that's independent of the current fan base is 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, whatever, okay? The 10% lookalike in Spain is always going to be the same size, independent of the number of people that you have in here. And now we come to the more advanced topics. Do you think it's a good idea to build a lookalike based on your fans? Well, we could discuss that. Depends on the quality of your fans. If you have very loyal fans who also purchase, well, then probably you could do it. But in the majority of the cases, it's not a good idea to build a lookalike based on your fans. It's a better idea to build a lookalike based on your actual customers, and in the best case on your most loyal customers, also therefore the ones that have returned to purchase at least once, so they purchased twice on your website. And let's say you have around 1,000 people of 1,000 of those people who have come back to your website and purchased, and they purchased at least twice, and then build a lookalike on that. That's of course very good. It's just some general recommendation. This is called seed or nucleus audience. This should always be, well, it has to be technically more than 100 people. So you cannot build a lookalike on just 20 people. So you technically need at least 100 people in your seed audience. However, Facebook recommends in their blueprint exams and everything, they recommend that you have between 1,000 and 50,000 people in here, okay? Yeah, that is of course not that easy for you to reach if you're just in the beginner level. If you just have started with your e-commerce, for example, you don't have more than 1,000 people who have purchased. However, you could still build a lookalike on your add to carts, or on the people who have viewed a specific content. So there it's easier for you to reach more than 1,000 people, and you'll already be able to apply a lookalike based on your view contents over the past 30 days or the last 180 days, a lookalike 10% based on your add to carts in the past 180 days. And if you have more than 1,000 people that have purchased, well, excellent, you could build it on them. And if you reach a very high level of of a very high volume of people who have purchased on your website, you could even build a lookalike based on their lifetime value. So you tell Facebook, hey, find me the people that are the most similar to the ones that have purchased the highest value on my website. So of course, the more data you have, the better it is. In a second, we're going to discuss, should we use the 10%, 5%, or 1%, or whatever. But before that, let me also show you how to set it up. It's actually super trivial. It's very easy. You basically just have to create a custom audience first, okay? For example, custom audience, your current fans, or a custom audience, view content last 180 days. Custom audience, purchase 180 days. That's the origin, okay? So you use here the custom audience, and then in the country, you could use, for example, Spain, or you could use Germany. And what many people don't know, you could also apply several countries here. For example, Spain, Germany, UK, and Austria. You could also put it in here, and it's no problem at all. It's for Facebook, there are no country frontiers. It's basically just as between regions, like for example between Catalonia and Aragon. You know, it's just like for them country level it's the same as a region frontier, so it's no problem. So how to create it? You apply the custom audience, then apply one specific country or several, whatever you want, and then you choose between 1 and 10%, whatever suits you the best, okay? And this number will always be the percentage of the entire Facebook population of this country. So now the question is, which one would we recommend? A smaller one, the medium one, or the largest one, right? So 1, for example, or 5 or 10% lookalike. And that's what Adespresso very nicely analyzed. How did they do it? Well, that was their campaign setup. They actually run a lead generation campaign where they wanted to optimize for the lowest cost per lead, okay? And that was a free, they run an ABC test, okay? So you see everything was completely the same, same creative and copy, but it was just targeted to the 1% in the US, the 5% or the 10%. Now the question is, which one had the lowest cost per lead, okay? So that was their setting. So what do you think? Which lookalike won? Well, interesting for them, the 1% lookalike won, okay? Because it was the most similar to their current database, and that was actually interesting. If you see, the 5% was higher, and the 10% was even much higher. But what's super important to understand here is that they did that in the US, right? So the overall population in the United States of America is high, and they have, so if the 10% lookalike in the US is 20 million people, then the overall population, the Facebook population in the US is more than 200 million, and therefore also the 1% is already 2 million. So they have very large numbers, okay? And so 2 million was the audience size that worked the best for them, better than 10 million or 20 million. So in general, it's good that they say the smaller the lookalike audience, the better and more accurate the results, because the Facebook algorithm can get better targeting. But this is specifically right if you're in the US. But if you are in Spain, for example, the lookalike audience 1% would only be 260,000 people, and therefore would be too small. So it's a little bit of a dilemma, because we know that, of course, the smaller the lookalike audience, so 1% versus 10%, the better, right? Because it's more accurate. But on the other hand, we want to reach a specific audience size. If you're significantly lower than 800,000 people, it's not good for the Facebook algorithm. So just to find a conclusion to all of this, it really depends on in which country you apply the lookalike audience. Is it a smaller country like Spain, or is it a huge country like the US? And the smaller the country, the bigger the lookalike should be, and the bigger the country, for example the US, the smaller the lookalike should be. So, and there was just another very interesting learning additional to the lookalike size when it comes to mobile and desktop. placements. Here we see clearly that mobile outperformed desktop in all of the 3 campaigns they were running, so ABC, and so therefore a general conclusion is also mobile over desktop, but we knew that anyways. So muchas gracias and thank you very much, and see you in the next video.